Hey, thanks for swinging in for a little THG. Today's video is going to be on what is a Lugaloo and how to fix septic tank troubles. So almost 1 month ago, we discovered we were having septic tank issues because the floor in our back room, where the laundry is done, was flooded. It had backed up again. So we threw the dog in the car and off to Lowe's we went to get what we needed. What we were after was what's called a drain snake. So we went and picked one up, brought it all the way back home, discovered it was the wrong one, and went back again a second time that day. So once we were done running around, we got home and we got to work. So this is the drain snake that we finally ended up with. It took us a while to figure out how to use it. It's fairly self-explanatory, but yet not really. I don't know, we might have to watch a thing about it. I don't know. You might have to watch a YouTube video about it. You make it, just let it keep going as far as it'll go. We were doing the first part right. You are supposed to put the snake part and just undo it into the drain. And then the key is, after we Googled it and watched a YouTube video, you put the snake in until you feel resistance. Then you begin to turn it until it coils up in there, and you'll hear it, and it'll snap and it'll go down further. And then you undo it some more as it goes further down the drain, and you repeat the turning. It coils all up, and then you'll feel a snap, and that's telling you it's going further down the drain. So we were kind of doing it right. But in order to get this to work right, and this is the part we didn't have figured out, there's a little lock right there that you can see where I'm pulling that out, and you have to lock that into place before you begin to turn. Right there. And then after you lock it, you're supposed to hold it as close to the drain as you can, and you begin to turn, and you can see that it's coiling up in there. And if you let go of the handle, it will spin back. So, and it does get a little bit hard, and then you'll feel all of a sudden this snap. You'll hear a snap, and then you'll feel the resistance leave, and you'll know that you've gone down into the drain further. Then you unlock it, and you pull some more, and you go down until you feel resistance again. And you continue to do that, theoretically, until the drain is unclogged. Now, the drain snake that we purchased was 25 feet. And we ran out of the snake part very quickly, and it came out of that little locking part right there. So we had to push it back in. And it was kind of hard at first, but we were able to get it back in. And push it down until we feel the resistance. And then lock it. And then you turn it until it falls through. You'll feel like, yeah, you'll feel a snap. Okay. Now, so we had been working on this drain for probably a good hour, and in between working on it, we would start the washer and let it be on the drain cycle to see if the clog was out of the drain yet. and each time it wasn't. Eventually, being frustrated, I decided I was going to go and snake the toilet. That is a big mistake. Everyone listening, please know that you cannot snake a toilet until you take the toilet off. I didn't know that, so we ended up with a drain snake that was kind of stuck in the toilet. But you can get that undone. All you have to do is just keep turning, and it will eventually loosen itself, and it will eventually come out. But that was a whole big hour-and-a-half ordeal in and of itself. We picked up where we left off in the washroom again, and did the snake down this washing drain several more times, with really not any luck. It's drizzling out, so you're breaking something up. Several days into this ordeal, I had some of my friends call me and offer to come and help me dig out the septic tank and see what was the problem. So they went ahead and came, and we were so grateful for them to show up. And we were able to get things going again after plunging and snaking and all of this stuff. But while he was digging down in the septic tank and then to the pipe below, he found where there was a crack in that pipe. And not only was there a crack, but the whole pipe was way lower than the entrance to the septic tank, which means it had to go uphill. Plus there was this really tight curve. So anyway, we were able to eventually get the water running again, and the washer was draining, and so we decided, well, that pipe's been like that for a while. We're going to leave that for now, as it was getting really late in the afternoon. So we buried everything up, and the next day Morgan and I tried to do the wash, and it overflowed again. So Morgan was really clever. She came up with a way for us to drain the washer by putting the drain hose into a big jug and taking it outside and emptying it. And that's how we were able to do a few loads of laundry. And of course it was the weekend, so we decided we were going to call Roto-Rooter. So we got up the next day and we called Roto-Rooter, and they came. And he dug up the septic tank really quick. But then I got a phone call also from one of the leaders in the church I belong to. And he said, why don't you let us come and we'll do some digging and see what we can do, because we can do it a lot cheaper than Roto-Rooter. So when the Roto-Rooter guy came, the bishop also showed up and chatted with him. And so he's charged us a service call, but he didn't clean out the drains for us, because when he looked in the septic tank and tried to fit a nozzle inside of that drain pipe, he said there was something preventing it. So that means that pipe was either kinked or smashed or something. So it was right then that I realized there was more wrong with that cracked pipe than what we had originally thought, even though we knew it was not a good situation. So a couple days later, this church leader and some other men that live in our town and are in our church ward, they came and they started digging. And they dug, and they dug, and they dug. And right off the bat, they knew this was an issue, because the pipe was like 6 or 8 inches below where it should be. So everything had to travel uphill. Also the cracked pipe, but it was also completely broken. So eventually they decided we have to dig out clear to the house and replace that entire line of pipe. So we did, and we weren't sure really that we were going to be able to finish this last Friday night, but they stayed. These men were amazing. They dug by hand, and they did everything that they needed to do, and it took a lot of time and a lot of hard work, and then they put in a new pipe. and they fixed up the whole problem. And in order to prevent this pipe from settling in the ground, and the ground settling more, they brought in some, I think it's called Slag Rock or something, and it goes underneath the pipe so that it will hold it up and keep it sturdy, and it also offers more drainage there anyway. So eventually my daughter and I just kind of stood back and let these men work, and they were just like miracle workers. I was so impressed. They really knew what they were doing, and they just hung right in there, and they didn't quit. They were not going to quit and come back a different day. They stayed there until it was finished. And that was just like, you guys, by this time, and it had been like 3 weeks, we were just so frustrated and upset. The only thing we could think of to do was to offer some donuts and apple cider for refreshment. And then my daughter started an amazing fire because we were working late into the night and it was getting cold. I've recently spoken with a neighbor who had pretty much this exact same thing happen to them.
All the cats are in, Zola's in.
Chickens are in. Yeah. 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 So we went ahead and did our evening chores and got them out of the way. And then all we could do was sit by the fire and watch these poor guys work. And boy, they did an incredible job. You can see them here putting the slag down. It went under the pipe, and then they packed it in around the edges as well. It was suggested to us at that point as well that if we were having any further issues, we would know it isn't going to be the septic tank piping or anything on the outside of the house. It would be piping on the inside of the house with a clog. We chose to ignore that because we were just too happy this was fixed. Our church leader had made a comment of how in the world our septic tank had been working for the last year anyway, given the condition of those pipes that were coming out of the house. So they cleaned everything up, got the tractors out, and they did their magic with putting all that dirt back and did a really great job with it. As happy as we were that they were all donating their time and their efforts and even materials to help us, we were also very excited to know that they were getting ready to leave, as they could get home with their families and we could go and take a shower. So after all of this hard work, you guys, we went in and showered. It was great. Everything was fine. The next morning we woke up to do laundry. Bam. The washer backed up all over our laundry room floor again. We were so distraught. I cannot even express what was happening to me. I don't even know. I was so, oh my gosh, my heart sank. So we thought, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? So on Monday, because again, it was the weekend, Monday, I called the Roto-Rooter guy and told him what had happened, and he said he'd come out the next day. So they were out the next day on Tuesday. And he dug up the septic tank again, and he went through the septic tank pipe this time with a power washer or something, and he cleared it all out. And the clog finally came out, we think. He put everything back together. We do have a 30-day warranty just in case it does clog from him, but we feel like we now have all of the piping to our septic tank fixed, as well as the clog cleaned out. So we should be good to go now. We are so grateful for everybody that pitched in and helped us, and from our secret friends all the way down to these amazing people in this adorable little town we live in. I don't even know how to say thank you, and they just donated everything, and they just did a service, and we're so very grateful for that. So despite all the many troubles that we've had, it's the little things, once again, even though this was a very huge thing for us, it's those little things that people do and they're willing to do. Some of these guys we didn't even know, and they were still willing to come and help us. And for that, we're forever grateful. So on this evening, we put everything to bed and put out the fire. And all I can tell you is we're grateful for these people that did all of this service. But there's one other thing that we haven't discussed yet in this whole video, and that was, what were we doing for our personal needs while we had no toilet for 3 weeks? That's where the Lugaloo comes into play. You know that toilets have often been called loos in the past. Maybe still by many people they are. So I'm going to show you what we used, and I will leave a link in the description below so you guys can find one too. Since the time that I actually got this Lugaloo about 20 years ago, there has been probably 6 or 7 different times when it has been an absolute lifesaver for us, and we have been able to bring it into our bathroom and set it there and use our Lugaloo because we did not have a bathroom. So this is a Lugaloo. I will leave the description in the link below so that you can get one yourself. And it's very compact, very little, and it stores out in your shed without a problem. There's the ring that sits on top of it's like a little bucket thing. There's a white bucket in there and all of the garbage bags. The white bucket can be removed, and that's what it looks like inside. So to use it, you put the bucket in, and then you put a garbage bag in. They have biodegradable ones, regular ones, whatever ones you're going to use. This is the time that you put it in. You open it up, and we have the 8-gallon size that fits this Lugaloo perfectly. And you just set it in there, wrap it around the edges. That's what it looks like inside. And then you put on the toilet rim. It's a little plastic toilet seat, like you would have for your regular bathroom. Looks just like that. What a lifesaver this has been. So it stores just like this as well. You, when you're done, you put in a clean bag and you leave it sitting in your bathroom. And then when you're ready to use it, it's all ready to go. When you're done using it, you lift the bag up and you can tie it. I'm just tying, this is just an empty bag. I'm just showing you for the video purposes. And you can drop it down into the bucket. And then you can remove the bucket and carry it out to wherever you're going to dispose of it. That way everything stays nice and clean, no accidents, no spills, no problems. What a lifesaver. It sure beats having to pound on the neighbor's door every couple hours or running to a store, which we don't have out here. It's 20 miles or something to the nearest store where we live. So anyway, when we were done using it, I sanitized it and put my bags in the bottom of the bucket and the other one on top. Put the lid on, and now it is ready if and when we ever need it again. What a blessing this Lugaloo has been. So here's one more little thing that has made a huge difference in our life in the past few weeks. Never did I think I would get so much use out of this emergency storage Lugaloo. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.